Truthit. I bring the Truthit. You can't handle the Truthit. I speak the Truthit.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to give is the
Truthit.
the whole
Truthit.
and nothing but the
Truthit.
so help you God?
Yes.
Please be seated.
And I'm here to address any and all things when it's time to, and it's time to.
Woman who called 911 to report disturbance shot dead by cops. Again, when you hear the story about another person shot dead by cops after calling the police due to a disturbance, you just assume that it was a black person that was shot and killed by the police. Well, you'd be wrong. This time, it was a white woman, an Australian woman who was living in Minnesota and engaged to be married next month, was shot dead by police. She was shot dead by police after she called 911 to report a disturbance behind her house. Justine Diamond, 40, of Minneapolis, was killed Saturday night by an officer who was responding to her call. He and another cop had arrived at her home at around 11:30 p.m. looking for a possible assault after she claims to have heard a sound in the alley behind the residence, the newspaper reports. Three sources with knowledge of the incident said that when they arrived, the officers pulled around back and were immediately confronted by Damon, who was in her pajamas. As she attempted to speak to the cop in the driver's seat, the officer apparently upholstered his gun and started shooting, striking her through the driver's side door, the sources said. No weapons were found at the scene on Damon, and neighbors claim the area is well lit at night thanks to an array of telephone poles and motion-activated garage lights. Local police have released very few details about the shooting. Of course they're not. Only revealing that the cops' body cameras were not switched on, conveniently, at the time of the incident, and the dash cam in their squad car did not capture the events either. This is just how convenient of the police. Whenever it looks like they're in the wrong and they're not caught red-handed by a civilian with a cell phone or someone else with a camera who happened to record it, none of their equipment works. What we have is a situation where a woman, she hears a disturbance in an alley. She lives in a house where behind her house is an alley. She hears noise, so she calls the police. The police, they come through, responding to a call, the 911 operator, there's a disturbance at this address. The police arrive at the address, and they meet with her. I don't know why the article says conveniently that she confronted them, but she probably went over to them to say, hey, I was the one that called. There's a lot of questions that need to be asked, and a lot of questions. The main one is, how did it go from her going over to the police to say, hey, I'm the one who called the police, to someone getting shot? Her getting shot especially. And through the police car door. Did she have something in her pajamas? Well, they found no weapons on her, so obviously she had nothing on her pajamas. Why did the police decide to shoot and kill this woman? Is this another case of them fearing for their lives? We'll have to see as more details regarding this story comes out. Basically, my mom's dead because a police officer shot her for reasons I don't know. Damon's soon-to-be stepson, Zach Damon, told the Tribune, I demand answers, he said. If anyone can help, just call the police and demand answers. I'm so done with all this violence, which comes amid heightened tensions over the state's recent acquittal of the white cop who shot and killed Philandro Castle during a traffic stop last year. Of course, this is the same place where Philandro Castle gets killed. In that state, that's where a police officer can just shoot when they see fit. And anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, can get killed. This is going back to what was said before. It's interesting to me, it's amazing how people, civilians with no training, have to remain calm, have to not act erratic, and have to be cool during interactions with the police. But the police are allowed to be erratic, they're allowed to be shook, they're allowed to be afraid, and they're allowed to act out and they're trained. So what is the training for exactly? That's the question. What is the training for if civilians have to be calm, don't reach for anything, remain still, keep your hands where I can see them, you have to make sure that you are being controlled. But yeah, a police officer can just act crazy erratic, and shoot somebody. This is what I'm talking about.